And we're continuing with our reading of the Ashtavakra Gita, the Song of Ashtavakra, who was a sage 600 BC. And the preface to these conversations or these readings is always that we're not scholars, we're not trying to have perfect Sanskrit or understand the context of when these texts were written. It's about extracting the wisdom directly, bringing it to light in our current world for those who are interested. So let's begin. The next phrase: you are the solitary witness of all that is, forever free. Your only bondage is is not seeing this. It's so funny when it's very clear. It becomes hilarious because it's true. The only thing that makes humans go is not seeing. There's nobody else. There is no other. You are literally the solitary witness. So what does this really mean? Does it mean that you're living on your own? Does it mean that you only look at yourself? No. What it means is that consciousness, pure consciousness, of which everything is comprised, is the only thing there is. And if you believe in oneness, there can only be one. Right? If you say, yeah, I believe in oneness, I believe there's a oneness, but not me, well, that's two-ness. That means you don't believe in oneness. So if there is only oneness, there is only one. And you are that one. So why does it appear that there's more than one? Because to know, there must be something that exists. And all exists means is to stand apart from. So consciousness allowed appearances to stand apart from. But they're only one thing. How do we know this? Well, firstly, let's look at a dream. In a dream, you go to bed, you go to sleep, you enter into dream sleep, and you dream a version of yourself and an accomplice in your dream. I used to have dreams where I would dream up lovers, and then the next day when I wake up, I wondered where they were, and then remembered that they wasn't. I was disappointed, and then I remembered that they wasn't. So in my own mind, and you do this as well, we dream up a version of ourselves, we dream up a story, we dream up objects, we dream up other characters, and they all interact as if it was completely real. That is oneness. Even though, to me in the dream, I'm really with this lover, going on these amazing adventures, doing these things with different objects, going to different countries, whatever it might be. But none of it is separate from my own mind. All of it is bathed in the one consciousness that dreamed it into existence. You see, and imagine during that dream, I'm with this person, and they say to me, what's the nature of this reality? And I say, there's one thing here, the consciousness of the sleeper. And that person is me, and it's you. And we've dreamt this into existence to appear separate. They would think I was bonkers, right? They would think, no wonder they're not there when I wake up. They would think I was bonkers. Right? But it's completely accurate. It's completely accurate. And that is what this is. This, we could call it God's dream. We've been dreamt into existence, and the perceptions are real. Every appearance is shored up by its own perceptions. For instance, let's take you looking at me. You perceive a screen, and then you perceive a person on that screen who seems real, but you know it's not real, it's an image on a screen. There is a distance from the front of your screen to where I am and the wall behind. But look at the size of your computer, or if you're looking on a phone or a laptop, it's only that wide. So how can I be inside? And then there's a wall behind me. So even your computer is a metaphor for your own consciousness, in that it's bringing into existence its own dream. But you know, because it's on the computer, you don't get fooled by it. But it's the same thing. Your computer has dreamt into existence a me and a distance and a wall and a sound and light, and it's all self-contained. You see? So there are many metaphors that show this. But here's the thing. In the example of your viewing device, the screen we would call the witness. The screen would be consciousness. And I am appearing within consciousness. So my voice is appearing within consciousness. My body is appearing within consciousness of the screen. The distance between me and the screen is also consciousness. It's a distance registered as consciousness, registered as a distance. So all the dimensions that form me are formed by the consciousness of the screen. They are all one, and you are watching it. But do I exist apart from the screen? This image, does it exist apart from the screen? You can't take me out of the screen. You can't remove things from consciousness. You can't take the dreamer out of the dream. That's why when I woke up, they were never there, because you cannot take the dreamer out of the dream. But consciousness is the biggest dream of all. And the screen then is consciousness, and the witness is consciousness. And what it says here in this text is, you are the solitary witness. There's not two of the screens. There's not two of the dreamers in that dream. There's not two consciousnesses bringing into existence all this realm. There's one, and it's you. Hello. How are you doing? Right? You are the solitary witness of all that is. So I just described that. There is nothing that isn't comprised of the screen when you're watching on your computer. You can't take the mouse widget from the screen. You can't take the background from the screen. Everything is screen and non-dual. So the screen is not me, and I'm not the screen, but we are not two. You can't separate us. The same with this, the solitary witness. All that really means is this conscious space in which everything occurs is intelligent. I call it absolute intelligence. So the screen is a knowing. It knows its own experiences through its absolute intelligence. Consciousness is synonymous with absolute intelligence. And that's what this knowing is, the witness. Wit means intelligence. So witness means the presence of intelligence, the solitary presence of intelligence, the knower of all. This is what this means here. Of all that is. So everything that ever comes to being is always known in this way. There is no way to make it divided. You cannot separate it in any way, shape or form. You are forever free. So there is no time-bound nature of this consciousness. Consciousness appears within, time appears within consciousness. Consciousness does not appear within time. So you're forever free, and the free means on every level. So let's talk about that for a second. So to be free means to have no limits. So consciousness has no limits. Look at all the things that have happened in just this year. Anything can show up within consciousness. It's unlimited, unlimited. Now when we, which we'll talk about in a bit, when we confuse ourselves with an appearance within consciousness, so we confuse ourselves with our own activity we take on the limitations of that confusion. And that's what this last bit means. It means your only bondage is not seeing this. So by not seeing your beautiful, open, expansive nature as the author of all activity in the entire realm of expanded consciousness that never ever rests and is always perpetually creating an empty field of utter delight. Like a dream, it's an empty field of utter delight because everything is happening. So much dynamic energy, yet nothing ever crystallizes. The freedom is in the uncrystallizing of all appearances. They never ever appear as anything. They are the adornments, the decorations, the beautification of your own mind. Seeing this is freedom. And you let go of the limitations, because once you realize you are not the person you think you are, but you are the knower of the experience of that collective field of activity, you know that you can live beyond that activity, and you were there before that activity. We witnessed as awareness our own birth into consciousness, into the realm of light and sound. But we were already present because that's all there is. The solitary witness of all that is, including your own birth. But because of the nature of consciousness, we take on this idea that we are our activity. A person is an action, an activity within consciousness. It's more like a verb. And because it's so powerful and alluring, and it has lots of me energy around here and in the chest, and we seem to be viewing from this particular stance, and all of these other things, the sound I can hear seems to be coming in my ear. But none of this is shown to be true. If you just ask yourself, who hears in a dream? What ears are needed to hear sound in a dream? What eyes are needed to see sight within a dream? The sights and sounds appear when the eyes are closed and the ears are sleeping. So part of this journey is beginning to break down this sense of me that occurs so readily in the face and chest, the mind and heart, body and soul. But we're not even body and soul. Body and soul is just an appearance within pure space. It just shows up as body and soul. But we are the knower. The closest we can describe ourselves as anything is the knower of ourselves being the activity of consciousness. And we are the simultaneous knower and doer. There isn't two, it's non-duality. We are the simultaneous knower and doer of all experience. And what this wonderful person is saying is that your only bondage is not seeing that. And that's what these talks are about. They're about learning to see again who you truly are, asking these questions and enjoying the realizations as they come along, and then letting them subside too. And we always come back to the very basic practice of leaving things as they are, little and often until obvious. When you do this, resting as the absolute, resting as absolute intelligence, resting as consciousness, being just as you are, unfiltered, unmolested, leaving everything to rest as it is where you begin to see that all of the things that you've come to know are seen through. You can't do that if you're constantly meddling with all appearances. You're constantly meddling with all appearances. You will never see the clarity that shines through. I would say you might see, but you're more likely to see it if you leave it as it is. There's an old Zen saying, and it says that when muddy water becomes clear when you stop stirring it. So the mud in the water, you want to clean the mud, so you keep stirring it with a spoon, and eventually you just give in and you stop and you go, I couldn't do it. There's no way I can clear the mud. And then the mud settles on its own. The idea that came to me with this one day was, I was in a bath and I started to think to myself, it's like trying to smooth out the surface of water with my hands. So I'm like, smooth, smooth, smooth. And each smooth stroke makes the water bubble, makes the whole thing become more disturbed. Where if I leave it as it is and just relax in the hot tub and just completely let everything be as it is, the surface of the water becomes still. This is synonymous with seeing the clarity, the clear, luminous, poignant, precise clarity that exudes in all appearances. Everything has it. You look at the laptop, the yoga mat, the lamp, the camera, they all exude a stable presence, an unfettered, stable presence. And you are that. You are that presence. And you know this when you leave things as they are. When you watch suffering resolve on its own. When you watch pleasure arise, abide and subside, which we talked about in the last video. When pain arises, abides and subsides. When ideas come and go, urges come and go, things that have bothered you seem to have no import. Feelings of sadness or depression or anger or frustration can arise, have some kind of minor consequence. Maybe you don't fully rest with it, maybe you flicker, but the flicker is also completely seen through as being empty, and there's no overall response even during a response. I kicked my toe, wow, okay, gone. You get to see that everything is being simultaneously created and devoured by each moment, which even the moment is devoured. Consciousness is like the flame of life, constantly burning away this dynamic energy with no trace. This whole few moments here burns away in the empty wake of consciousness. There's nothing there, right? And this is where you start to see your freedom. You are the solitary witness of all that is, forever free. Your only bondage is not seeing this.